So how you doing today? How are you doing today? I am your host, Lacey G. Soldier Turner, and today I have a very special guest with me. He's a 25-year veteran of the Alton Police Department. He has served as the pastor of Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church in Alton for over 20 years. He is the first Black mayor of Alton, Illinois, and been doing a lot of great things for the community. He is up for re-election. So, without further ado, I want to welcome to the platform the Mayor David Goins. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good. How you doing, man? Thanks for having me, man. Such short notice. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Oh man, no problem. So, no, as mayor, you're embarking on re-election campaign, and you made significant strides in improving the Alta community. So, I want to talk a little bit about that. Can you tell the people about like the financial stability where you transform Alton's finances from a $3 million deficit to 2.1 million surplus?
Well, actually, it was when I first took office, and there was some financial challenges. We weren't able to do an audit because our bank our bank reconciliations had not been updated for about 2.5 years. The previous comptroller had really wasn't doing his job, and so we couldn't do a budget, and we couldn't have our audit done. And
Mhm.
so finally, we had to bring in a retired comptroller because I didn't have the up, and that comptroller left, and so we had to kind of like wing it
Gotcha.
until we can get a new comptroller in and then get the books reconciled. Once we got the book reconciled, then the auditors came in and was able to do the audit, and then that's when we discovered we were at a $3.8 million deficit.
Uh, uh,
And there was some challenges in the past. We were still in COVID, so COVID affected that a lot, some floods and things like that. But we were able to steer clear, and so in 2022 we reduced that deficit to 2.1 to like to I'm sorry about 1.8 million, I think, uh, according to the audit in 2022, and then 2023 we got it up to a 2.3 million dollar surplus.
uh,
So we're able to turn that around in 2023, and then our last audit in 2024, we had a $7.7 million surplus,
uh,
um, and we turned that around. Now the caveat to that is that there was a big jump in the revenue because there was a lot of American Rescue Plan Act money that had been sitting, and we finally started using it and implementing it. And so we had to include that as revenue
uh,
once we used it. So we had to put it on the revenue side, and that was one of the reasons for that bump.
gotcha.
But I did ask the comptroller. I said, take away the ARPA money, and what does it look like?
Uh,
And she said, well, we're still in a $3 million surplus if
yeah.
you take away the ARPA money.
So yeah, see, that's a good thing. That's a great thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
another thing you did, I want to talk about, which is very important, public safety enhancement by like hiring new officers and equipping them with,
Yeah,
cameras. Can you talk about that?
yeah. We continue hiring officers. One of the things in that my goal was to hire more African American officers, and we were able to hire them. Unfortunately, some of them couldn't cut the mustard, or some of them didn't make it through the academy, but we were very diligent. But the one thing that we also did was we found that by we wrote a lot of grants to purchase cameras, license plate
Uh-huh.
readers, and throughout the city, throughout the entrances of the city, and different trouble spots in town. And so, with those enhancements, we also were able to see a reduction in, I think, about 4 or 5 of our major crime categories. We saw a reduction in crime, and um,
Uh,
and so that really has enhanced. Now, do we still have our struggles with crime for a city our size? Well, of course we do, but
yeah.
we're steady working on um, alleviating that crime, and making our residents feel safe, and addressing issues when they come. And so that's been that's been a help to be able to identify, because we want to use these, not only not hopefully these license plate readers and the cameras that we've installed throughout the city will not only be like a way to identify criminals, but also be a crime deterrent. So
Mm,
we have kind of a two-pronged approach. It is for crime prevention, and it also is to help us solve crimes when they happen. And hopefully we can get them. They would be more of a deterrent than
mhm.
will be to uh, help catch criminals. But it's good to have them when we need in that capacity.
Facts, facts. So I just want to let the people know. You see, you're just doing a lot of great things all around, not just in one thing. Also, can you talk about like the economic development side? Well, are you established a new business district?
Yeah, we established a new business district in our Homer Adams Parkway. We we're able to bring in three national chains: Ulta Beauty, Marshalls, and Five Below. We're also looking at some other uh, potential investments in the future. One of the things I'm proud of is the number of black-owned businesses that actually happen under in my administration. We assisted a number of black-owned new businesses. Some have thrived, and some have folded. Because it's always a risk. But
Facts.
the fact that people I feel empowered, you know, to do this, and one of the biggest ones that we has opened is it's called the Renaissance X. It's there on like 400 block of Pie Sol. It's 35 and all 35 and up is just for the grown and sexy folks. I mean, we have since this establishment has opened, and I've met many people from St. Louis, East St. Louis, Venice, Madison area. I mean, they're coming over saying, and this is one of the nicest venues that they can come sit down, listen to some music. We have a little outdoor venue where a lot of people have their cigar events there. So it's called the Renaissance X, and it's really really a nice venue.
Okay, okay. And look, he ain't leaving y'all out youth. So can you tell the people about the youth and the community engagement that you've been doing also?
Oh, working with the youth, we've been we're trying to establish what they call a child friendly cities initiative. It's got CFCI through UNICEF, and we're working to help our kids in three categories to feel happy, healthy, and safe.
Mhm,
And one of the things that I was actually doing before I came on air was we're putting a violence prevention grant together
mhm.
um, to put a violence prevention initiative in our city, especially geared toward youth, since we're seeing a lot of our youth
Yes,
having
yes.
guns in our hands and things like that. And so we're looking at the violence interruption program,
Mhm.
which these utilize brothers and I guess sisters who have been through the system who have turned their life around, and they can be like violence interrupters. And so these violence prevention programs, the Child Friendly Cities Initiative, um, we have a number of uh, things going on in our community for the youth. As you know, as a city, we just put in a new mini soccer pitch facility in our park in one of our new parks, and we've just got a ton of youth activities, and uh, we're always open to assist, you know, with our youth, working with our school district, partnering with our school district um, to do things for our youth in certain areas, disadvantaged areas where there was no sidewalk for our youth to walk on. We applied for grants from the Safe Routes and Safe Schools grant to implement sidewalks to give our children good passage as they walk to and from school.
Okay, look at that. Hey, listen, we doing a lot of stuff. So look, let me tell you, let me say this. You know, you up for re-election. Can you tell the people how your public service and community leaderships makes you a strong candidate for re-election?
Well, like you said, I was a 25-year veteran of the Alton Police Department. I worked for the Alton Police Department when I was and I was in one capacity I was a dare officer, and I was teaching the drug abuse resistance education program in the schools. I was school resource officer, um, and then when I got promoted to sergeant, I was a community services officer. So I've always been in the capacity of serving the community. Also, being a pastor of a church for 20 years, uh, we're feeding the homeless, feeding the hungry, uh, providing clothing, and providing food, providing toiletries to our less fortunate. And so that service, along with I served prior to election, I served 4 years on the Alton Community District number 11, a 111 school board. So I was a school board member as well. So I served on the school board, and it was implementing and getting our uh, football field resurfaced with an all-weather turf, an all-weather track, upgrades in schools, and AC in schools, and a number of things. New marquees for the different schools in our community that didn't have a marquee or needed an upgrade on marquees. And so, like I said, I've served a number of, my whole life has been a life of service. And so, since I've been in office, there's one thing that people cannot say is that I don't show up. I show up for every event I can. Sometimes I have to maybe pop in and say hi and everything because I got two or three other events, and so I don't take that like, well, I got three events, so I'm just going to go to one. I try to make all the events, and anybody can tell you that they ask me, "Do you ever sleep?" Because I'm always on the go. I mean, being a mayor is a 24/7 job. It's like there's no off days for being a mayor. When I take time off, when I'm out of the office, that's what I say. I'm out of the office, but it's not. I'm always answering my phone, answering my emails. So on vacation, when I'm in Mexico, I'm still answering the phone. For real, yeah, yeah. Checking emails and things of that nature, and not I'm not there all day. I just check them periodically and respond accordingly. If it's something urgent, obviously I have to respond immediately. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things that can wait too.
Yeah, definitely. So, we're gonna speak this into existence. So when you are reelected, can you tell the people about your plans for the future?
Well, the plans for the future is continue building up on our financial stability. One of the challenges that we'll face is that once this all this American Rescue Plan Act money is is spent, it has been a blessing. It'll make things a little tighter, but we're going to continue on financial responsibility, financial accountability, and with all the upgrades we've made, we're going to be able to continue improving our infrastructure, our sidewalks, our streets, and doing as many streets as possible because it's been and continue to enhance public safety and pursue more opportunities for economic development because the whole premise that I ran on was like when you fly an airplane and the oxygen mask comes down, and they always tell you to put the oxygen mask on first before you try to assist someone else. And basically, this is what this first 4 years has been: putting the oxygen mask on ourselves, upgrading our public works department with new vehicles, new paint striper, new with a hot box to pave our own roads and pave our own streets so that we don't have to always hire outside anything. We can do it in house. Um, HVAC systems. We've put a new solar array that's going to help our community in the future, and so that and continuing to pursue economic development, development of our riverfront. That's one of the economic boosts because one of the things that in our city when it was big on factories back in the 60s, 70s, and those factories started getting closed and outsourced. And so tourism has definitely been something that we have pushed in our area as well, because this is a historic city and we want to be able to offer uh, a place where people can come and visit, not just drive through to go to Grafton, but actually come in Alton. And so enhancing our downtown area, making our downtown even more viable than it is, and our riverfront, which is they're all connected, and
Yeah.
trying to create safe passage, or not create passage, but a link, because the way it's set up now, because of the railroad and everything, our riverfront and our downtown area is kind of separate, but we want to kind of make that more walkable.
Mhm.
And then looking at our vacant buildings, encouraging people to want to invest in our vacant buildings and bring in more down, more businesses downtown as well, restaurants, shops, little things. People, kind of making it like the way St. Charles is, trying to do it like that. So,
Gotcha. I gotcha. So, um, I want to stick on this again, because the election's coming up April 1st. Why should the people vote for David Goins?
why should they vote? Because I need to finish the things I began. I want to continue being a mayor for all people. I've been accessible. I have been transparent, and I have done, and I've served this community for the better part of my life, since 1985,
Mhm.
and I have always been a person who wants to help people and help them right where they are.
Mhm.
And I've done that, and I want to continue to do that. I want to continue to be a transparent leader and a person that somebody can call. Um, they can stop by the office. No need is too small, and I can. And I always tell people, if I can help you, I help you. If I can't, I'll put you in the direction of where you can get the help that you need.
Gotcha.
So, and that's the reason why I've served, and I continue to serve, and I want another opportunity to continue to build on the progress that we've made in these first 4 years.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, Mr. Goins, is there anything else you want to tell the people before we get out of here?
Well, voting is so important. Your vote is your voice.
Mhm.
You know, I used to tell I used to tell people when I was a pastor of a church, if you ain't paying your tithes, you ain't got a right to complain about nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's real talk. You ain't putting a dime in the church. You ain't help put a doorknob on the church, but then you want to then try to dictate something. And so the same way, your vote is like your tithe. If you vote, you have that. Now you have a voice, because you say, because you put interest in your community by filling out that ballot. And so I encourage people, that your voice, your vote is your voice. I tie it into prayer too, because so many people don't vote in this election. I
Right.
mean, we look at the stats, and we look at the number of people in Alton who voted in the general election, and then when the consolidated election comes,
Mhm.
uh, it's it's like 85-90% of the people vote, and then when the consolidated election comes 3 4 months later, there's maybe 10 or 15 people, 10 or
Right.
15% of the people vote. And so it's so important when we have 17,000 registered voters in the city of Alton. And the last election, there was just under 4,000 people who actually voted out of 17,000.
Crazy.
So that's the last thing I want to say is like,
Yeah. Look.
this election is just as important as the general election, because
Right.
it directly affects you
Right.
more so now. Even with what's going on in Washington, I can see how we can be impacted in certain ways, but it's important that people understand that there's a lot of uh, things that affect us in the in the consolidated election as well, and so they people need to get out and vote.
Yes, and I always tell our people we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. A lot of them died for us to have this right to vote.
Yes,
Use it. You know what I'm saying?
use it.
So fact. So how can the people get in contact with your organization if they need to get in contact with you?
Well, they can get in contact with us in they can go to goinsformayor.com, and on that page there's a page where they can donate. There's a page where they can volunteer. There's also a page if you need a ride to the polls. There's a number available that you can call our campaign phone if you need a ride to the polls. So
Okay.
get everything on goinsformayor.com.
Okay. And my last question that I love to ask all my guests. So, when it is all said and done and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want the people to know about David Goins?
And that's a great question. That I always try to do my best.
Mm.
I've always tried to be fair, and I've always tried to walk in a way that was pleasing to the Lord God Almighty.
Mm. I love that, man. Love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Mayor. David Goins. I'm gonna get on this article and get it out today for you. So try to get it out
Man,
today because I
that's
know
what's up,
the
man. Thanks.
election is tomorrow, so I'm gonna get on
Yeah.
it.
All right then.
All right, you have a rest of a good
Okay.
day. I appreciate it.
You have a blessed day. I appreciate you. God bless you.
All right, God bless you.